This is Suella Braverman, and the stuff that she said towards a Holocaust survivor are shocking, unempathetic, and also the response from her Home Office is shocking and unempathetic and not in the spirit of free speech.
I would love to be having a front page of the Telegraph with a plane taking off to Rwanda. That's my dream. It's
When
my
will that
obsession.
happen?
And that Rwanda plan has a lot of similarities to the Madagascar plan attempted by the Nazis.
And I won't apologise for the language that I've used.
And I will play the clip shortly, and I'll also confront what the Home Office said. But essentially what Braverman has said is very similar in rhetoric, like the use of the word swarms, to that of Adolf Hitler. Just have a look at these quotes. Hitler also used the word swarm to describe the Jewish population. The language is awful, and yet it's being repeated in 2022 to describe immigrants. The Home Office came out and said, in defense of the Home Secretary, the Home Secretary attended an event last night and took questions, including on immigration policy. Footage of a conversation with a Holocaust survivor is circulating online. The video has heavily been edited and doesn't reflect the full exchange. It goes on further to state, the Home Secretary listened carefully to the testimony. She thanked her for her story. The Home Secretary also expressed her sympathy and set out why it's important to tackle illegal immigration. Since the footage misrepresents the interaction about a sensitive area of policy, we have asked the organisation who posted the video to take it down. I'd like you to judge what you've just read and compare it to what just happened. For me, I can only see one edit, and it doesn't look like it's an edit that has taken anything out of context. Have a look for yourself.
I am a child survivor of the Holocaust. In 1943, I was forced to flee my birthplace in Belgium and went across war-torn Europe and dangerous seas until I finally was able to come to the UK in 1947. Now, when I hear you using words against refugees like swarms and an invasion, I am reminded of the language used to dehumanize and justify the murder of my family and millions others. Why do you find the need to use that kind of language?
Thank you so much for your question. And let me just say this. I too share a huge amount of concern and sympathy and frustration about the challenge that we are facing. Personally, I too am. My parents were immigrants to this country. My father was kicked out of Kenya. He found refuge and security and opportunity in the United Kingdom at a time when it was, very difficult. My mother was not born in this country. She was recruited by the United Kingdom as a girl of 18 in Mauritius. And she came to work here as a nurse and served for 45 years for our health service. And my parents came here with nothing. They came here with nothing except gratitude and a desire to give themselves to Britain. And they owe everything to this country. And they have taught me a deep and profound love of Britain and British people. Their tolerance, their generosity, their decency, their fair play. And that also means that we mustn't shy away from saying there is a problem. And there is a huge problem that we have right now when it comes to illegal migration, the scale of which we have not known before. And I won't apologise for the language that I've used to demonstrate the scale of the problem. I think that I see my job as being honest with the British people and honest for the British people. I'm not going to shy away from difficult truths, nor am I going to conceal what is the reality that we are all watching.
Sorry I had to stop the video, but she has said nothing about what the actual problem was, which is the use of language. she's shown no empathy towards Joan Salter. None. And she's made it all about herself.
I see myself as your voice in government, your voice around the cabinet table, your voice at the Home Office. And I listen and I hear what people here in Fareham tell me, and I cannot hide away from that. So I will, for not 1 minute, say that our track record on taking in people from Ukraine, taking in people from Hong Kong, Syria, Afghanistan, is about me. I'm incredibly proud of what the UK has done in recent years. Hundreds of thousands of people have found security, refuge, and friendship in the United Kingdom, and long may that tradition continue. Something I have benefited from through my parents coming here. Many millions of people have benefited from, and something for which the United Kingdom is known around the world. But I will not shy away from saying we have a problem with people exploiting that generosity, breaking our rules and undermining our system. We must accept the enormity of the problem if we've got any chance of solving it.
There is a bit to add in at the end, which is almost as shocking as that unempathetic, narcissistic speech in front of a Holocaust survivor who's saying, please stop this language that you're using. And I've given you 2 quotes with someone from history who is awful using the same language. The word swarm brings connotations of insect infestation and plagues. The image of a swarm is easily connected to the idea of rodents, parasites and diseases. Humans have always considered vermin and parasites as ill-fated and undesirable, and she continues to use that language. She is disgusting. Within that video, she does say thank you. But that's not a real acknowledgement. It's thank you for the comments, not a response to the human being behind them. There is one edit. I can see how that has not affected what she said in her response, because that has not been edited out. The response is about her family, which goes on initially for a minute, and then she brings back again at the end, not really addressing any of the concerns in regards to the Holocaust. It doesn't directly answer Joan's concerns about the language. In fact, it doubled down and said, no, the language I've used is correct. And then finally, Braverman compares her mum coming to the UK as a chosen nurse as to that of a Holocaust survivor. Rewatch the video again. It's really, really disturbing stuff. And then finally, there's this bit at the end. That's right, the crowd ends up supporting Braverman over the Holocaust survivor. And it sends chills down my spine, because that's some of the things that were being said in the 30s, and people were applauding back then. Write to your MPs, write to the Conservative Party, write to Westminster, and demand that Braverman is removed from office as soon as possible. She doesn't know her history, she has zero empathy, she seems to have narcissistic tendencies. We don't need people like that in government. I just want to say a big thank you to all of those who support this channel. You keep it going.